We applied last year for that tax-exempt status. It took 14 months for that application to be approved. Normally, applications like this at the most, 4 to 6 months for something like that. It's obvious that there are people in the administration that do not agree with these moral principles that the Billy Graham Evangelist Association and Samaritan's Purse believe in. Now, are we going to be targeted again because of what we believe?
Now, that was the Reverend Franklin Graham appearing on this very program after he found out that his charity, Samaritan's Purse, was targeted by the IRS during its illegal efforts to harass conservative, Tea Party, and religious organizations. So what does the Reverend think about this week's announcement that no criminal charges will be filed as a result of this scandal? Joining me now, himself, the Reverend Franklin Graham from Samaritan's Purse. Reverend, good to see you. Welcome back.
Thank you, Sean. Good to be with you.
41 organizations represented by the ACLJ, American Center for Law and Justice, they didn't talk to one person. Did the FBI ever talk to you before they made this decision this week?
No, Sean. We never were contacted by the FBI. No one asked us a question.
Yeah. So what is your reaction if they don't talk to the people that were victims of this and they say no criminal charges? What's your reaction? And great injustice, it seems, has occurred here to me.
Well, I'm concerned about this, Sean. And Sean, first of all, let me just say the IRS agents that we dealt with here in North Carolina were professional, good people. We've had no problems with these agents, the field people. They're outstanding Americans, and they're just under orders from somebody on high. And so when we talk about the IRS, I want people to understand there are a lot of good American people that serve in that agency, and I just don't want to smear them, but there's something wrong if the administration is using the IRS to target Samaritan's Purse, the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association, and 41 different other organizations because of our beliefs and what we stand for. And we both, Samaritan's Purse and the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association, received notification on the same day in 2012, in September, telling us that our tax statements for that year were going to, or for 2010, were going to be reviewed. It's not coincidence that both Samaritan's Purse and BGA received letters the same day. Somebody was pulling the strings. And when we asked the agent at the end of the examination what caused this, he said that there was a complaint that had been filed, one complaint that had been filed by a person because we stood for the marriage amendment here in North Carolina, which was held in May 8th of that year. So we feel that we were targeted because we supported the marriage amendment.
Well, it sounds like they're intimidating and harassing those that have different political views. But, Reverend, it's important that we continue to highlight this because if it can happen here and nobody gets punished, it's going to be bad. But, Reverend, thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Sean. God bless you.
Appreciate it. God bless you. And if we're going to go after the Reverend Billy Graham now, 41 conservative organizations as a means to harass and intimidate. Basil, you're left of center. Nobody gets held accountable, and the FBI doesn't talk to one member of one organization, and then they say the investigation's over. You outraged about that?
I'm outraged about that, but I would say there's evidence to suggest that they did it to Democrats too. So I don't think there's any targeting. I don't think there's any specific targeting of Republicans that leaves Democrats alone. And this IRS is like the DMV. It's paying one way or another, regardless of party.
Let's look at the scoreboard, Sean. 200 conservative and right-leaning groups to, I think, about 8 liberal groups, progressive and otherwise. The wholesale targeting of conservatives is not even up for debate anymore. We accept the fact it happened. The administration's defense of it now is it was accidental. There was something that happened internally in some bureaucratic level that led to it. What bothers me the most is the investigation was headed by a Barack Obama donor who happened to be a Department of Justice Civil Rights Division unit lawyer who, before she even concluded the investigation, leaks or had someone in her office leak that no charges were going to be brought forward. And it's amazing to me that here we are almost a year later to the event, and not one person has been brought to justice for this massive injustice of the First Amendment right violations of hundreds and hundreds of
I just want to point out, 5 years ago yesterday, I testified at Eric Holder's confirmation hearing. Eric Holder was the architect of the release of FAL on terrorists that killed my father. And that was when Hillary Clinton was running for Senate. Now, no one came and spoke to us before the FALN was released, which was a violation of the Victims' Rights and Restitutions Act. So this has been going on. No one ever was held accountable for that release either. The Clintons denied, claimed executive privilege. And so this is an ongoing thing with Eric Holder and this Justice Department.
If government is that big, that powerful, that out of control, and they can intimidate, what does that say, Diana?
It says that there's a slippery slope, and if we just sweep this under the rug, we are in for some serious trouble. We can't just raise our hands and say, no, this didn't happen. And this obviously is a political move. I mean, look at Governor Christie and what is facing him. We're just going to let this one go, too?
Well, no. He condemned it, he fired someone. The difference is he condemned it, he fired the woman. This president, there's no accountability. Lois Lerner got to go, paid leave. She's retiring, probably drinking mimosas in Barbados.
Good for it. Yeah, go ahead. You want to go ahead? Yeah.
It's an outrage, and I think it's incredible that this is what's going on right now.
But there's no crime. There's no crime.
The president
It is a crime. That's the point.
Where's the evidence of a
violating
crime?
the First Amendment rights of Americans is a crime.
Would say that's the point.
Violating the First Amendment rights of our citizens are a crime. The president himself called this outrageous. Eric Holder promised after the IG report came out for immediate action. Director Mueller, the former head of the FBI, a month later went in front of a congressional committee, couldn't even name who was heading the investigation, how many agents.
Right, we gotta hang on.
Who on a group was interviewed.
One at a time. We got to take a break. We got to take a break. We're going to come back, and I promise we'll get you saying. I promise. I promise. All right, still ahead tonight. Well, we got two big football games this weekend. Football legend Joe Theismann is going to stop by to share his predictions for the big AFC-NFC championship games. Is Tom Brady, is it his year, or is it Peyton Manning? I say Peyton. He's going to seize the day. But first, tonight.
A lot of kids are soft nowadays. I think they're pampered too much. I think we need to be a little ruthless with our kids. You stopped. You stopped right here. Don't stop. Use your weight. Go with it. Go.
Are American kids too pampered? Is this a good way to treat them? Anyway, some say it was a week of parents gone wild in America. When we come back, we'll break down the most controversial examples about how some moms and dads are treating their kids and how some coaches are treating them. And to help do that, former Alaska governor, self-proclaimed hockey mom herself, Sarah Palin, she's going to join us as we continue our Parenting 101 with the governor and our studio audience. Straight ahead.